So, hey guys, I was wondering if there was anything degenerate we could do with the Gimmick Puppet cards, and I saw that like all of the major cards essentially have a Gimmick Puppet lock on them. So we have Gimmick Puppet Chimera Doll. This specifically requires, let's see. Then if all monsters you control are Gimmick Puppet monsters, minimum one, you can special summon a Gimmick Puppet monster from your hand, so that's not usable. But this is like generically-ish makeable, so this only requires two machine monsters, so that's not like super hard to make. This doesn't have any restrictions. This effect only works on Gimmick Puppets though. And then the protections you have are only for Gimmick Puppets. And that's like going to be a bit awkward, I guess. Let's see. What does this do? Detach one, destroy it. Then if it was a monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So the thing with the Gimmick Puppet cards is they essentially have Gimmick Puppet locks on them, more or less. And that makes it a bit awkward to kind of try and utilize them for certain things. But that's when I realized, well, Rouge Doll over here has the effect where you can special summon a Gimmick Puppet from your deck and itself from the hand. And it's just like any Gimmick Puppet monster with the same level as the revealed monster's rank from your deck. So technically, we can special summon like Little Soldier if we want. We can special summon Terror Baby, despite it not being like necessarily that good to do so. We can still do so, I guess. But the thing about this is that this has a pretty nasty lock on it. So let's see. You cannot special summon from the extra deck the turn you activate either of this card's effects, except for Gimmick Puppet monsters. So you can't even add this to your hand. Like as a resource loop, that wouldn't even work. Which is kind of wild, I guess. There was one other level 4 Gimmick Puppet, right? Gimmick Puppet Fiendish Knight. Does this also restrict you? Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck the turn you activate either of this card's effect, except for Gimmick Puppet monsters. So, essentially, it makes it very hard to play other strategies with Gimmick Puppet, and you're playing Gimmick Puppet like pretty much here if you're playing Gimmick Puppet, and you're kind of forced to do so, which I'm honestly somewhat a fan of, because you can imagine how problematic this would be if you could do some other things alongside the Gimmick Puppet cards. But I'm here to tell you, you can do some other things with the Gimmick Puppet cards. So first, I guess we should stock up on some of the Gimmick Puppet cards, or nah, we can do that after, I guess. So let's just real quick grab the rank up, I guess, and the trap while we're here, you know. Argent Chaos Force, yep, that's the one. A Puppet Parade, Service Puppet Play, that's the one. This one, target one XYZ monster in either graveyard, special summon it to either field in defense position. Okay. Wait, if this card is in your graveyard except the turn it was sent there. Huh. Is there a way to even discard in this deck? What was this ad? Take one, Gimmick Puppet monster? Because I'm just now realizing Service Puppet Play, if I put this into the graveyard and then just activate the effect, we can use this to trigger Gimmick Puppet Fanatics Mechanics to kind of do a burn, or perhaps like summon like Gimmick Puppet of Dark Strings to also do burn, but that's just me getting a little bit distracted. If we want to have these cards and have our opponent unable to respond, I narrowed it down to two potential techs. So the first one I was thinking about was Divine Zero King Rage. So Rage is pretty costly here. It's going to need us to somehow summon the Rage, so we're just going to figure out how to do that, I suppose, like you could. And then after this, we have the effect to tribute one other monster, and then apply these effects until the end of this turn. This card can attack directly. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in the spell and trap zones. And then we have, of course, your opponent cannot activate card effects in the hand or graveyard. So if we activate this effect, our opponent should have no response at all to what we're doing. But how in the world do we summon Divine Zero King Rage if our opponent, well, kind of exists, you know, without accessing our extra deck at all? So having this doesn't actually matter anymore for Gimmick Puppet Camaradol, because we can simply destroy it with the Gimmick Puppet of Strings, which will likely happen as part of the FTK combo. So yeah, having it on the field, not a problem. Getting it to the field, no idea. It's probably not going to happen, I guess. And reminder, of course, we really do want to resolve the Rouge doll in order to perform our FTK, but we likely won't be able to, because well, if we want to summon the Divine Zero King Rage, pretty high chance that we won't also be able to resolve the Rouge doll, because we would have to somehow summon Divine Zero King Rage with only special summons somehow, probably. So yeah, I don't know. This is not likely going to happen. So then I was thinking about yet another way to kind of stop our opponent from activating anything, and this is what I came up with. So with all of these cards, I realized that a lot of these guys actually don't care if they're put into the graveyard, and we don't actually care if we do put them in the graveyard that much. So with these guys, I realized, hey, wait a second. We're perfectly fine to kind of activate these guys here, right? So we can't really make the Vendred link, which is a bit problematic. So that's the issue with this line. So what we need to figure out is essentially how to summon Revendred Slayer for the most part, and then we just need to be able to send it to the graveyard afterwards. That's it. We could do so, I suppose, by resolving Gimmick Puppet of Strings into other Gimmick Puppet of Strings. That would technically work, I guess. And then we have Vendred Battle Lord. And then we can Battle Lord effect to then declare a type. So monster, spell, or trap, and then our opponent should not be able to activate anything anymore. Because we're technically not accessing our extra deck here, that this is quite a bit more viable than at least the Divine Rage idea, because Vendred, for the most part, will not require a normal summon. So that's pretty cracked, I guess. So let's assume we activate pre-prep, we grab Revendred Slayer plus the ritual spell. So that would be Origin. So we can Origin to special summon the Slayer, and also Slayer we can put into the graveyard, and it would not be problematic, I guess. But let's say we have a Terror Baby in hand, or not Terror Baby, maybe we have a Rouge doll here. We can send this to the graveyard and then add this back to the hand, and then we have summoned the Slayer here, and then we have Gimmick Puppet Little Soldiers essentially, but we can do things with this, I guess. But the thing here is, if we just summon the Revendred Slayer, I don't really know if there's a good way to get this off the field. But let's just assume we do find a way, because we're a super genius here. I don't know, maybe we do a charge or something. I just don't know. Also, you do have a level 8 monster here, so we can potentially make up an additional level 8 monster if we do need to through our Vendred Blaze. But the primary thing we're looking at here is that we're going to be resolving the effect of Revendred Slayer, which is we can add a ritual spell from our deck to our hand, and we also send a Vendred monster from the deck to the graveyard. So in this case, we'll send Battle Lord, and then we can send Evolution. evolution effect summon Battle Lord, sending Battle Lord, and then we can Battle Lord effect to banish the ritual spell, which we're not going to be using again anyways. And then we're going to declare monster or trap or whatever. Depends. If we open the field spell, I guess it might not matter unless we're playing around Ash Blossom Joe Spring, in which case we would probably declare monster. If we were playing the trying to play around, I guess, like an imperm for whatever reason, I guess we could declare trap, but I think for the most part monster is better to declare with Battle Lord in this situation. And this also adds potentially follow-up plays with the Vendreads on the next turn if it gets to that point, which I mean it probably won't, but if it does come up, I mean it could come up, I guess. So yeah, Vendread Gimmick Puppet. That's the general idea. There's still like some kinks that might need to be worked out to actually get it to a playable state, but yeah, this is just a deck idea that I wanted to share with you guys, and I thought it was pretty interesting because this kind of plays around, well, or kind of is a way to work around the extra deck lock here by simply not accessing the extra deck by using rituals. And these guys, all the Gimmick Puppets, are high level, so they're technically good to perform the ritual summons with, which is pretty neat, I guess. What might work, I guess, is that we could try using a Clockwork Knights. So if this is active, this would turn our zombies into machines, and we could link them off for Gimmick Puppet Chimera Doll. I guess that's a little bit jank, but that's an idea for sure. I don't think that's efficient enough to be worth playing, but it's pretty neat, I guess. Speaking of which, how do these guys work again? Destroy. Highest original attack is what the burn is for, so this doesn't negatively affect this. Okay, so yeah, it's fine. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.